Should we start?
Yes.
Okay, good afternoon, everybody. So this is a continuation of the morning's, lesson. So in the morning we saw how the low caste, that is Baka, the untouchable, the unclean, the impure, the Harijan, the SC/ST, as they're known, as you know, they're called by so many names. We saw how he worked. He worked with such skill and such dexterity. Dexterity means the skillful movements. His work may be a menial one. It may be a very low form of work, cleaning latrines. But the way he does it, the whole. We're told. If you watch the previous video, you will see how it's described by the author Untouchable, right? Some of the words that the author uses to describe Baka working. He worked earnestly, seriously, quickly, without loss of effort. He was brisk yet steady, and he had an active application to the task he had in hand. And this application seemed to flow like constant water from a natural spring. So it springs like, the source of a river. It's so natural. So the movements of his body, they're so natural. Even if he does something like sweeping the latrines, this is the way he does it. And we're also given a description of, his, let's say his physique. Each muscle of the body hard as a rock. Each muscle of the body was as hard as a rock. Seemed to shine forth like glass. It was shiny because when it came into play, when you're actually sweeping, your arm goes like this. And when the muscles come into play, they are as hard as a rock, and they seem to shine like glass, right? So given a description of his, inner resources. He had pent up resources. Pent up means he had stored resources, right? What are some of the other words used to describe the way he works? He showed considerable skill and alacrity. Alacrity is quickness, skill, right? If there was an onlooker, you would think Baka was a dexterous. Dexterous is very nimble, agile, skillful worker. Dexterous, right? So, okay. And then what about his attitude? The attitude, he was absorbed in his task, his complete absorption in the task. That gave him a look of distinction. Okay? And more or less than that, his exotic dress, the dress of the British Toms, the way he dresses, lifted him above his odorous world. Odorous is smelly, as I said. So lifted him above the odorous world of his work, right? And so you see, these are some of the words which are no doubt they're true. This is a true description of what you call as people who you call untouchables. So this particular description, it is almost like he's meditating. You understand the way his movements flow from one to the other, and they intertwine and they join, right? It's almost like a meditation. And in fact, there is a form of meditation called Zen meditation, in which the person is actually active. He's not static. He's not sitting in one posture and meditating. Only his mind is not. He is actually active physically and mentally. So, but his mind is absorbed, and the movements. For example, if he's a runner, the movements flow into one another, right? The arms alternate, the legs alternate, and his mind is completely absorbed. And this has no sense of the outside. This is Zen meditation. So you see, this sort of minute description, as I said, is characteristic of this great author called Untouchable, who we actually see them as marginalized. Marginalized means in the edge fringes of the community. But you see how, what fine wordplay he uses to describe these people, these characters in this story, right? So Now, he is actually cleaning the latrines for upper class person called Havildar Charat Singh, right? Charat Singh is a Havildar, is sort of rank in the army, as they say. So now, Charat Singh decides to gift him a hockey stick because Baka and both Baka and Havildar Charat Singh, they're great hockey players, right? So Havildar Charat Singh, as a token of his appreciation of Baka's methods of work, decides to gift him a hockey stick, right? I'll repeat. So we'll start from there, where we stopped this morning. Right? Come this afternoon, Bake, I shall give you a hockey stick. He knew the boy played that game very well. So continuing. Baka stretched himself up. So he's probably squatting on the ground, on his haunches like you do in the Indian style. He stretched himself up. He stretched himself up. He was astonished. He was extremely surprised, yet grateful at Charat Singh's offer. So he was at the same time he was, he didn't expect the offer of a hockey stick. He was astonished, surprised, yet he was grateful. Okay, at Charat Singh's offer. It was a godsend to him. Godsend means something you get without, you really need something is sent. It's a godsend. You don't know how it comes or